Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I cannot believe that we are in the second trimester. Well, really we're done with the second trimester. We're in now entering into the third trimester. So for today's video, I am going to be doing my second trimester recap, which is just, it blows my mind to think that we are already like on the home stretch of this pregnancy. It has gone by ridiculously fast. I think because the entire second trimester was kind of over the holidays. The holidays already just speed on by, and being pregnant during the holidays, I feel like you just black out. It's like a blur, especially if you guys have been around on my channel. You also saw that we moved right around like Thanksgiving time, and so it was basically like boom 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 boom, holidays, moving, everything all at once. And I think that also just made the second trimester fly by. But I wanted to do a second trimester recap because a lot has changed since the first trimester. Obviously, it's so weird to think that in my first trimester recap video we actually didn't know if we were having a boy or a girl. I'm pretty sure we didn't know. Yeah, I don't think we had found out yet. We are so excited to be having a girl, and I actually just got our nursery painted, which I do feel a little bit like ahead of the game on that. I feel like most of the time people don't start on the nursery until the third trimester, but I wanted to go ahead and just start on that because I knew that it would sneak up before we knew it. But we are having a girl. We're due in April 4th actually, and we are so excited. It is getting a little bit more real. It still feels kind of like an idea. I feel like first trimester definitely felt like an idea because I wasn't really showing that much. I didn't have much of a bump, and now I am like full on bumping. I'm in maternity pants nonstop. If I'm not in maternity pants, I'm in a robe. If I'm not in a robe, I'm in a knit dress. And that's like my entire wardrobe right now. But let's go ahead and start with a little bump update, show you guys the progress of the bump. Okay, so as of today, I am 27 weeks exactly, and I'm in my maternity joggers that my mom got me for Christmas. Literally all I asked for Christmas from my family was maternity pants. So my mom got me a few different pairs of maternity pants, and these ones are legit so comfy. Honestly, all my maternity little pieces that I've gotten have been lifesavers. And I'm also wearing my Lululemon scuba zip, and I'm going cozy comfy today because I wanted to be comfortable while filming this video. And honestly, if I'm not filming something or like going out, I'm wearing this because lately the bump has just started to become a little bit more uncomfortable. It's harder to even like sit how I normally would with like my legs crossed in my chair or like leaning forward. I definitely have to like start reclining at the table. And she's also on the smaller side, which I am so grateful for because I could not imagine having a big baby right now. So I am very excited that she is a little bit more petite like I am. We are going in for another ultrasound on, I think, a week from tomorrow, to do a little growth ultrasound to see how she's growing. But everything checked out really well, which brings me, I guess we'll do the week by week thing. We can talk about the anatomy scan and all that stuff. Let's pick up at the end of the first trimester. It looks like I ended out my first trimester recap at week 14. So we're gonna start with week 15. I try to take notes every week, just like very general things that I was feeling. And I started to not take quite as many notes towards the second trimester because I feel like the first trimester I was like super hyper aware of everything, and then second trimester it was just kind of, it honestly went by so fast with everything going on. There were some weeks where I was like, oh my gosh, how was I feeling last week? Because I didn't write anything down. But week 15, I was feeling really good. I had great energy. I feel like week 15 is when I started to actually kind of develop a bump. Like week 15, week 16 is when it went from like bloat to an actual bump, which was really exciting because I feel like the first trimester, you're just like, I don't look pregnant. I just look like I'm really bloated, but I don't feel my best. I don't look my best. And I feel like around like week 15, 16, and 17 is when I started to feel like my bump was a little bit more noticeable and I started to look pregnant, which I think honestly helped because I was not feeling my best towards the first trimester because I was like, this just looks like nobody would ask me if I'm pregnant kind of vibe. So week 15, felt like my bump kind of showed up. And then week 16, this is so random, but I started noticing dark little hairs underneath my belly button that were like going down. And so like my stomach little hairs started to grow darker and just things like that. I feel like I noticed dark spots under my underarms and just like little dark spots on my body and in places that like I wouldn't think that they would be, like they were in the crease of my, like where my thigh hits my hips, like that crease there. They were underneath my arms and they're still there, but they're just like little dark spots and I don't know what they're from or why, but I feel like it is common that the pigmentation in your skin just changes a little bit. So that also started happening. I feel like pregnancy is truly just it just happens to you and you don't really get to pick and choose what you get from it. It just is different for everyone, but that happened with me. And then I guess I didn't document anything else in week 16 other than the hairs growing on my stomach. And then week 17, I started noticing that my tailbone would hurt whenever we'd go on long walks. And I noticed that just being mobile started to feel a little bit more taxing on my body, especially if we were like out all day walking around, that my like lower back and tailbone would just kind of start to hurt. Week 18, this was when I really started to have a bump, and I literally have bump is here in all caps. And this is when I had to be really, really good about sleeping on my side. And I used to be a stomach sleeper, which made pregnancy a little bit more challenging because I had to really train myself to not sleep on my stomach in the first trimester, which in the first trimester, it wasn't a big deal, but obviously as you have a bump, you can't sleep on your stomach. And so I actually still don't have a pregnancy pillow. Jason has been trying to get me to get a pregnancy pillow and I really need to get one, but I have been putting it off because if you guys have seen them, they are huge. Like they literally take up 2/3 of a king size bed. They're giant. And I don't know. I haven't wanted to commit to the pregnancy pillow, but honestly at this point, I really need one because I'm noticing that my stomach is getting heavier and when I sleep on my side, I need some like support underneath it. So I'm probably gonna get one in the next couple of weeks, or Jaywaz will order me one because he is about had it with me complaining about sleeping on my side. Week 18, I wrote down that I felt the baby, I think. So around like 17 to 18 weeks, I started having like those little flutters is what they call them, I guess, where you feel like you might be feeling the baby, but it could be gas. There's just like a little bit of movement, a little bit of wiggle, but you're not getting like full-on kicks. And so that was around week 18 is when I was like, okay, that might be the baby. But I only felt it when I was like dead still and was like really focused on trying to feel it. So it would be usually when I was lying in bed or if I was on the couch like watching a show or something, if I was like really still, I would feel her move, and that was really cool. But also it was still early on to where I was like, I think that's the baby, but it also could not be. So around week 18, also around kind of like week 18 and maybe 17 even, I started eating normal again because my first trimester, I had like hardly any aversions. It was the opposite for me. I wanted to eat everything. Everything sounded so good. I was hungry every hour of the day. I had to eat all day in my first trimester, and I gained a little bit of weight really quickly in my first trimester, not because of the baby, but just because I was so hungry all the time. And so kind of second trimester, I started eating like normal amounts of food again, like just normal for me. And that kind of went down a little bit. So like beginning of pregnancy, I swear I was eating literally every hour of the day, something, just a snack or whatever. And then kind of second trimester, I wasn't hungry all the time. Week 19 is when I started not sleeping very well. And this went on for a couple of weeks. It was to the point where I would wake up every like 2.5 to 3 hours. And it wasn't even that I needed to like go to the bathroom or really like was uncomfortable. I just like could not stay asleep. And so I thought maybe I got pregnancy insomnia because that's super common around like that time frame to not be sleeping well. But my sleep has actually leveled out again, which I'm so grateful for because those couple of weeks were honestly really hard because I also had a little bit of like a hormonal thing going on those 2 weeks, probably mixed with being super tired, where I was so emotional like week 19 and week 20, and I was just like so on edge, so tired, and starting to get like uncomfortable doing just normal things. And so it was like the perfect storm of all of it all at once around week 19 and week 20. Week 19, I also got super bad congestion again, and I literally still have it. So from week 19 to now, I still have congestion in my throat, and it's not as bad, but I'm pretty sure that I have had congestion, some kind of throat or nasal congestion, almost this entire pregnancy, which apparently is a thing. Like I looked it up, I talked to my doctor about it. He's like, you can take, you know, Flonase or something. I don't even know, like a nasal spray. And it's not enough to actually like do something about it. So I just haven't done like any medicine for it. But I have had so much congestion almost this entire pregnancy. And again, it's so bizarre the things that people experience in their own pregnancies, because I feel like everyone's pregnancy is so different, and mine has truly been acne and congestion. Those have been like my two biggest symptoms the entire pregnancy, and they're not obviously like the worst symptoms. Like very grateful to not be like super nauseous, but both are just like lingering, and they've been so frustrating. I can literally feel the congestion like in my throat right now, and it has been here since week 19. So pretty much about, yeah, like 8 weeks since then. Also around week 19, I wasn't sleeping well because I would get Charlie horses in the middle of the night, which I just would never ever wish upon anyone. There's nothing worse than like in your sleep, stretching your legs, trying to get a nice stretch in your feet and your legs, and a shooting pain going up your legs. And one night I got them in both legs, which I was like, I'm in so much pain. Jason is asleep. I'm like silently just feel like my legs are being chopped off, and it was awful. Like they were such bad cramps that the next day I felt like they were still like locked up, and I had to like look it up because apparently this is a thing where your blood flow just changes from swelling and stuff, and you do get leg cramps. But I didn't know it was like a pregnancy thing until I talked to one of my other friends who said that she was getting leg cramps at night, and I was like, of course this is a thing. So that is something that happened between week 19 and week 20. I got leg cramps. Again, those have actually subsided with the not being able to sleep, which I'm like so grateful for. I feel like that has actually kind of gone down, which is amazing. So grateful, because I was in a bad place. Week 20, still not sleeping well, still really bad congestion. By week 20 though, I am feeling little movements, and this time I'm like, sure, it's her. Like they're happening too frequently to where I'm like, I'm gassy. I'm starting to feel like little, like just like little bumps, you know, like a little kick or a little punch, which is just like the sweetest feeling ever. It is so unreal, and just, it's hard to explain, but it's just, I don't know, it's amazing, and it's weird, and it's surreal, and it's so cool. But that was around week 20. Apparently I did not document anything week 21. I literally have nothing. It's just skipped over week 21. So I'm assuming that things were kind of the same. Week 22, I noticed my balance starting to change when going down the stairs, which is something that I'm obviously not used to. Like I have to lean back a little bit more when I'm walking down the stairs, because I do notice I'm a little front heavy. Your center of gravity changes obviously as your belly grows. And so I noticed going down the stairs around, yeah, like week 22 that I had to like lean back just a little bit more. Week 23, still congested. She's kicking a lot at this point, and week 23 was the best week ever because Jason felt her kick for the first time, and that was maybe one of the happiest moments that we have shared in our marriage. The joy and just the like, oh my gosh, because I had been feeling her for what, like 3 weeks prior to that, and Jason was always like, I want to feel her. I can't believe I don't get to feel her. I can't believe I have to wait that long to feel her. And he finally felt her, and it was like the slightest little like again like a little nudge or something on my stomach, and he felt that, and we were just like, it was honestly one of the most special moments. I will cherish that memory forever. That was one of the coolest just moments that we got to share, was when he finally felt her. That's when I feel like it started feeling so real, was when we could just feel her movements all the time. It just was like a reminder that there's a baby in my stomach, and she's moving around and she's, yeah, just it's so bizarre. It is so bizarre the first like few times that you feel your baby move. And even now, like every time I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I like switch sides and I just like wait for her to kick and give me like little like I'm here response. And at night when I go to bed, like I'm always just like hand on my stomach, just like waiting for her to kick or move. And she's so active that I feel like I feel her all day, every day now. Week 24, more kicks. Week 24 is when I started sleeping well again, which again, I'm so grateful for. I feel like that really affected everything. Obviously, when you're not sleeping well, everything is just harder. And I cannot wait to have a newborn because that's gonna be obviously probably the biggest complication or challenge is just not having good, consistent sleep with a newborn. But I'm grateful to have it these days. Like I'm so grateful for good sleep. Now having tasted what it's like having terrible nights of sleep, I'm so grateful for every good night of sleep that I get, knowing that they are about to disappear for a very long time. Week 25, bumping. Really feeling like my bump is like here. And also week 25, my legs like started going numb when I was sitting down or like lying down. Like they would just start to get like tingly. So I have to stand up and just like try to get some blood flow down to them. Definitely noticed changes in blood flow in my legs. Definitely around 25. I think it's gone down a little bit. It's not as noticeable, but for some reason, I had a couple days in a row and a couple nights where I would just be like lying down and all of a sudden I feel like my legs were like tingling. So that was kind of bizarre. It was a little freaky, but it's kind of like leveled out again and things feel very normal again. So it is odd how it just like ebbs and floats. It's like even if you have one weird symptom or one weird thing happen to your body, it can like kind of go away and then come back and then go away. And pregnancy is a wild thing. Week 26, which I think is actually around the time that I got my Pilates reformer. So if you guys are relatively new to my channel, before I got pregnant, I was doing Pilates like 4 to 5 times a week. And I was doing it for about a year and a half prior to getting pregnant. And it was like my favorite workout. When I got pregnant though, I decided to cancel my membership a little bit into my pregnancy just because I knew that I was gonna have to start modifying everything. And what's funny enough is the house that we were in before we moved to this one was actually pretty far away from the Pilates studio that I was going to. I just loved that studio so much. I loved the instructors. I loved just like the room, the vibes. Like it was my favorite workout I'd ever done. I never stayed that consistent with any other workout before. And I was so sad to stop taking Pilates, but I kind of knew that with having to modify things and being pregnant, and then also it's expensive to take those classes every month. And we were thinking when we have the baby, like how are we gonna both work out? Can I work out at home? And with the drive, it felt like not a really good situation once the baby came. And we were also thinking about moving kind of a little bit like after I canceled my membership. And so with all of that, the baby moving, all that stuff, I would have basically missed like 2 whole months. And I had a monthly unlimited plan because I was using it, but it was just one of those things where I was like, I don't feel like I should be paying for this if I'm gonna have to miss all these classes. So long story short, canceled Pilates with the plan of eventually getting a Pilates reformer. And I had planned on getting one earlier, but then we ended up moving and it was just like this whole thing. And I'm glad that I didn't get one for the other house because we would have had to move it. But we finally got one here. It was my birthday and Christmas gift from Jason, and I have used that thing almost every single day since we got it. I love it. It has been so nice to have here at home. And that's kind of my plan once the baby is born, is he can go work out at the gym. I can be home with her, and then when she goes down for a nap in like the morning, I can do my workout, or at any point in the day I can do a workout because it's at home with me. So very excited to have that. I do think actually though that starting to work out again and stretch has really helped with my leg cramps, because I noticed that when I lay down at night, my legs just don't feel nearly as tense or like locked up, or they don't go numb when I lie down. And so I think honestly, working out, whether that's like walking or stretching or doing some kind of movement during the day, really helps if you do have leg cramps. I've noticed that they've gotten so much better since I started doing stretches again and started working out. So if you're having the same problem, maybe try taking some time every day to like really stretch out your legs and your arms and just try to get that blood flow going, because I feel like like that made a huge difference. Week 26, I started to feel real stretches from her. Not just like little hits and jabs and kicks, but like full on stretches. Like I literally felt one like move across my stomach, which was the weirdest feeling ever. It just was like, ooh, you know, like just like, yeah, it's just so bizarre. So started to feel like real like stretches and movements from her, which is so exciting, but also again, such a weird feeling. Also around week 26, I feel like I started noticing it being a little bit more difficult to get in and out of bed. I have a very low bed just to start with, but like getting down and getting back up these days with my belly is just, it's starting to get a little bit harder. Also week 26, this is, yeah, when we got the Pilates reformer, started working out again, and I noticed that it's different working out when you like are in your second trimester versus your first trimester, because I actually did work out. I was still at my Pilates place during the first trimester, or most of the first trimester, and I feel like it was business as usual with my workouts. Now I have to modify almost everything because it's just, you're not nearly as flexible. You also have to be really careful about how you're positioning your body, especially with Pilates, like how you're lying down, making sure you're on your side, not your back, all the things. There are so many great instructors on YouTube that I found that I just watch on my iPad, like next to my reformer. So it is nice that I can do those modifications without having to go to the class and ask the instructor every single workout, like how do I do this, how to do this, how to do this. So I really, really like that. I can also go at my own pace, which is really, really nice. Week 27, which is basically this week, I just kind of wrote down some things that I noticed within the last couple of days. So gassy, bloated, uncomfortably full, which is so funny because I actually did check my Flow app, which is the app that I've been tracking my entire pregnancy on. And it literally said, at week 27, you might notice that you're more gassy or more uncomfortable. Try eating smaller meals because you just feel fuller because the baby is like pressed up against your different organs. And I was like, how did they know? They nailed that. So week 27 is, I've started to notice smaller meals are better, because if I eat a really big meal, or not even a really big meal, but just like a normal size meal that I would normally eat, I do feel like way more full, to the point where like I am just uncomfortable for hours after I eat. And that was me last night. I ate a very normal portioned meal like I would eat any other time, and I was just like sitting and I could not get comfortable, and I'm pretty sure that that is why. I wanted to end this video with some questions from you guys and just kind of talk about preparation and all the things. So first question was, how are you feeling? Are you feeling ready? We are feeling not probably as stressed as we should be, but also I feel like around like the last couple weeks we started to realize like, okay, like we are pretty much on the home stretch. We've got one more trimester left. It's gonna come really quick. You never know if the baby could come like 3 weeks early or whatever. So it's just like, now we really need to start getting prepped. So that's why we had the nursery painted. We have really started looking at nursery furniture that we're probably gonna order within the next couple of weeks to just try to get that in place. We haven't taken any classes yet, which I don't even know when you're supposed to take those classes. I feel honestly pretty clueless about when I'm supposed to do all these things, but hoping that when we meet with our doctor next week, we can talk more about just like the game plan for the last trimester. I'm sure they don't bog you down with all that information too early. I remember my other friends who are like ahead of me or already had their babies started doing a lot of that in the third trimester. So I don't feel like behind, but I also don't feel like I know what I'm doing or like know what I'm even getting into, for being honest. So that's how I feel, but I'm really excited. We're still very excited and very just grateful, and we can't wait to meet her. We feel just like a lot of peace about it, but also we don't feel like prepared, you know, physically. We don't have everything for her. So we've got a lot to learn and a lot to prepare, but we are very excited. Baby showers. So we are having, I think, 3 baby showers. We're actually gonna leave for one in Michigan next week, and then we've got one in Nashville right after that, and then we have another one with my family after that. So there's gonna be 3, I believe, and I think that's it. I'm so excited because the one in Michigan and the one in Nashville here are both like a co-ed shower. I really wanted Jason to be there because it's his baby too, and I feel like those are always so fun when like I don't know, your spouse gets to be there because it just seems like a good time. So he's gonna be there for both the Michigan one and the Nashville one, which I'm pumped about. And he's really excited for our showers too. Going off of that, what's on your registry? So honestly, I kind of cheated and went off of my friend's registry. And that's probably my biggest tip, is like just go off of someone else's registry, because it's impossible to know exactly everything you're gonna need if you've never had a child before. It's just like, how are we supposed to know these things? And every baby is so different. So some of my like top things on my registry, which I can't speak to personally because I have not yet used them, so take this with a grain of salt because I don't have a baby, but I will absolutely do a video on my like newborn must-haves, all that stuff once we have the baby and we've used some of this stuff. But kind of those like big items, I did register for the Spectra S1 Plus portable rechargeable pump. And I've heard that you can maybe get some money off of it through your insurance, so definitely check that. But this one apparently you can plug in and also take to go. It's a more like powerful pump. We definitely want to try to breastfeed, but if that doesn't work out, I'm fine doing like bottles or anything like that. But I want to try to get a pump and just see if I can breastfeed. I'll link the stuff down below in the description box if you want to check out the things that we've registered for. The peanut wipeable changing pad, I heard that was really good because it doesn't have a cover for it. So you can just wipe it down. You just put a blanket on top of it when you're changing your baby. So it's just easier to clean. For strollers, really want to get the Duna infant car seat and stroller because my friend has one and it just looks so convenient. The fact that you can literally take it in and out of the car and just pop the wheels down, not to take the baby out of it, seems really nice. And I did put those on my registry. However, we don't have any expectation that anyone is gonna buy our strollers because we're asking for the Up a Baby Vista as like the big stroller with the bassinet, and then the Duna stroller. So basically we have them on there in case a bunch of people wanted to go in on a gift, but we are probably just gonna end up purchasing those ourselves. Those are the two strollers. Just some cute little bath essentials. I'm trying to see the Snuggle Me Organic lounger, which I might find on Facebook Marketplace if I don't get it at one of our baby showers because it is kind of expensive and it's just a pillow, so I feel like I could probably get that secondhand. And then the baby Bjorn, I think that's how you say it, I don't even know, the bouncer that like almost everyone has. Amazon burp cloths, baby monitor that I ended up registering for. I went off of my friend's recommendation, which is the Infant Optics DXR 8 Pro, whatever. I'll link it down below. She said she likes it, so honestly that's what I went off of. Nursing pillow, pack and play, little cart. And that's kind of it. Like those are like the big items. I'm sure there's honestly so much more that I need to register for. I don't know, the registry really overwhelmed me and I just went off of what my friend said. So those are kind of the big things though. And then we didn't register for anything for the nursery because we figured that we would probably just end up getting the stuff that we needed for that. But I'm so excited to show you guys the nursery plan, doing some last minute tweaks, but I think it will be really cute. Obviously the pink room is gonna be a vibe. Do you have a name picked out now that you know it's a girl? Yes, and we actually had a girl name picked out before we found out it was a girl, and we were like feeling so confident about the girl name and not so confident about the boy name. So when we found out it was a girl, we were like so excited to not have to think of a different boy name because we were like, oh no, if it's a boy, we have to like come up with a name. But this girl name we feel really good about. We have said it a bunch of times. A few people who are very close to us know the name and we're so excited. It's a family name and I think it's gonna be perfect for her. Next question was, do you have a birth plan and how will it work with family? So our birth plan is to go to the hospital that our doctor is at because it's a really great hospital here in Nashville, and my friend gave birth there. Actually, I've had multiple friends give birth there and it's been a great experience for them. So that's our plan. We'll for sure be getting the epidural because I am a wimp when it comes to physical pain, and so that's just how I plan on it going. Obviously we don't have like a true plan. I might need a C-section. I'm not totally sure. I'm kind of just not holding on to any plan too tightly as far as that goes, but I would like to give birth in a hospital. I'm not trying to do an at-home birth. As somebody who just likes to have professionals around for those types of things, I would like to be at a hospital. And then as far as like family goes, so my mom is actually here. My whole family lives here in town. They're actually like 40 minutes away from where we live, but relatively within reach. I don't know that we really want a bunch of people at the hospital hospital because I get really overwhelmed. I kind of in my head am thinking that the hospital will mostly be just Jason and I. Really want him in the room with me. And then I would love for family to meet the baby when we get home, I think. Also love the idea of being able to go home and just kind of get settled for a second and all that stuff, and then have people over to meet the baby. All of these plans are so loose. It depends how long we're in the hospital, if there's any complications, all that stuff. Things are held very loosely right now is how I feel. But ideally, Jason's family would fly in, and really his family is more so his mom and dad would fly in probably, I guess, when we go, I don't know if it would be when we go into labor. It honestly might be once we like birth, and then they'll be there when we come home. Honestly, it's kind of still up in the air. So gotta figure that out for sure. What do you have for the baby so far? Not a whole lot. No crib, no changing table, no rocker. I do know what rocker I want to get. I think I want to get the Kiwi glider from Baby Leto and the Hudson crib from Baby Leto as well. But as far as like, what do I have? Not much. I've got a couple bottles, got a couple bibs, some cute little plushies that like friends and family have given us, got some pacifiers, some little rattles, but we don't have, well, we do have a stroller actually. We have a stroller that Tarte Cosmetics gifted us, which was so sweet of them. And it's honestly the perfect stroller for, I feel like, my mom to use, because she will probably want something, since they do live in town, she'll probably want something to kind of have on hand. So I feel like I'll probably let my mom use that if we do end up getting the Doona. If we don't end up getting the Doona, then I'll just use that stroller. What are your work plans for taking time off? This is a great question, and I don't have a solid answer on this because I really don't know how I'm gonna feel. And so kind of with the birth plan, I feel like I'm holding this super loosely because I know people who have had really quick, easy birth and they're out walking the neighborhood a week later, and then I've know people who have had really complicated births who just don't feel like themselves and don't recover nearly as quickly. So I'm trying to just hold that very loosely and just assess how I'm feeling kind of week by week. I definitely want to take some time off for sure, but I also do love the fact that with this job I can ramp back up very slowly. So even if I do come back and it's one video a week or one video every other week, I feel like it doesn't have to be completely, you know, take 2 months off, do nothing. I can kind of pick and choose what I want to say yes to, which I'm really excited about because I do love my job and I love what I get to do. And so holding it super loosely, I might really want to film and share things, but I also might really want to not and just take some time off. So I think a little balance of both is probably where I'm gonna land, somewhere in the middle. But those were kind of the most common questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this second trimester recap. It has been such a good second trimester. I know people always say second trimester, you feel your best, you're like the most like back to normal kind of, you're not too big, but you have a cute bump. And I definitely have felt that the second trimester was the right time to go on the baby moon, and the second trimester was the right time to do something like a move. I would not want to do a move in a month from now. Just knowing how I'm feeling now, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had to do that in a month, I would just not do it. But I'm really glad we got to just knock it out. Now we get to nest, we get to settle, we get to work on the nursery, and I've been feeling really good. I'm interested to see how I feel in about a month from now, because I just have a feeling that things are just about to get a little bit more difficult. But I have been feeling really good. It's been a really smooth pregnancy so far. I'm very grateful for that. And we're obviously so excited to meet her, and just it's getting more real. It's very exciting. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Say hey. If you happen to be new here on my channel and you want to stick around for some more videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you back on my channel, and I will see you guys in my next one really soon. Bye guys.